Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Mary and welcome to another Craft Day Monday, where every Monday I post a new video. In today's video, I was asked if I could show how I do my tree of life. So basically that's what we're going to do today. It's really simple. You don't really need a lot of things. So what you're going to need first is you're going to need a wreath form, or you can use a styrofoam circle. It's kind of sturdy. This is what I'm going to be using. You're going to need some jolt rope. I hope I said that right. If I did not, let me know in the comment box below. You're going to need hot glue. You're going to need scissors. You're also going to be needing Spanish moss, or you can use green moss. Normally I would use green moss, but I did not have any, so I'm going to be using Spanish. And I am going to go ahead and turn my camera down so we can just get into the video. So as you can see, I've already went ahead and I started wrapping my styrofoam circle with the rope. So we're just going to go ahead and continue to do that. I've already went and started wrapping it because this part is very time consuming. So this is I'm just trying to speed up the process. So I'm just going to go ahead and just cut a little bit and just... So basically what you're going to do is you're going to start off with a little bit of hot glue. And this is just going to be to hold your rope in place while you twist it. So let me adjust my camera for y'all. There we go. So now what we're going to do is you're going to take your rope and you're going to put it right on your hot glue, being very careful that you don't burn yourself. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to wrap this all the way around. And you do not have to add hot glue every single time you make a little twisty turn with it. All you got to do is just kind of go around, and then you're just going to secure it with hot glue every so often. That's what I do. So as you can see, all we're doing is just taking our rope and we're just, I'm trying to get this on camera. So basically we're just going to take our rope and we're just going to wrap it. And it's going to show up a little greenish on the screen, and that's mostly because my styrofoam circle is green, but I hope y'all are able to see what I'm doing. And that's basically just wrapping it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add a little hot glue here, and then we're just going to twist it around. That's going to secure it. And we're just going to go ahead and wrap this all the way around. And you want to pull kind of tight just to make sure that it's kind of snug and that it doesn't move around on you. So once again, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap. And we're just going to wrap this all the way around until we get to the end. So now that we're almost all done wrapping it, I just got a little more to go. We're just going to go ahead and finish wrapping this out. So and we're almost to the end where we can go ahead and move on with the next part. So I'm just going to keep tucking this through and pulling it. And it does not, and if it's not perfectly perfect up at top, it doesn't matter because we're going to cover this part with the Spanish moss, so it's not going to be seen. So we're almost done wrapping, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part. Yeah, we're just going to continue to wrap. I do have a little visitor here with me, and he'll pop in on towards the end of the video when I move my camera back up. go ahead and cut this. So now that we're done, let's move that out the way. And I'm going to go ahead, turn it this way, and just secure it a bit. So you're just going to put a little bit of hot glue. And we're just going to take it and push this down just to secure that. And this is what you left with. Once it's covered, this is what you should have. So now we're going to take our decorative rope here that we have here. And this part right here is going to be what we use for the tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the end here. And I'm just going to unravel. And we're not going to unravel the whole thing, just some of it. You can unravel as much as you think you're going to need. I normally just eyeball it. And then I'm just going to pull that out. So now I'm just going to put this here and I'm going to go up top. And I'm going to unravel up here too. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and I'm just going to take this and glue this right down here. Now you can glue it in the back if you want and have the branches going, the roots of it going in this way. But for me, I like to do it this way. So I'm just going to put a dab of hot glue right here on the rope. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hold this like this. And I'm just going to hold my finger. And we're just going to squeeze this just like that. You're going to let that dry. And then I'm going to come up. And I'm just going to put a little more because it just feels like I need a little bit more. So I'm just going to put that there. And you want to make sure that you kind of got your tree centered. So I'm just spreading it out, and I am going to go ahead and cut about here. Smooth this out the way. We don't need that right now. And that clearly did not stay like I wanted it to. So we're just going to unravel, and these will be our branches. So there. I'm only going to have, I think, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. It really all depends. So here, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue here. Like that. And I'm just going to hold this over here so I can give this a little bit of a tug to get it kind of tight. You're going to hold that there. Let it dry. And then you just kind of just play around with it until you're happy with the placement that you want how you want it to look. It's really at this point is really up to how you want it to look. So I'm just going to go ahead and play around and glue these in to see how I want them to look. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pull all of these across just like this, and I'll turn it around so y'all can see how I got it. So this is what mine's look like. So now you're going to take your rope, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut off a little piece. I'm just going to eyeball it. Just going to cut it there. Going to move that over. And what we're going to do is you're going to start at the bottom right here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right down through here. I'm just going to hold this here. Let that dry. And in the meantime, I am going to take this rope right here and wrap it around this rope. So this is going to create your trunk of the tree. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue and wrap it around as I go. And I'm going to pull kind of tight. And I'll come back when it's wrapped. So now we're almost done wrapping. So I'm just going to go ahead and tuck this in here. There we have that. And I'm just going to put a little bit here just to tuck this end down. So this is what it looks like so far. This is what it should be looking like once you get it wrapped. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the extra pieces of string or rope because we don't need them. So we're just going to go around and just cut that off. Now I'm going to go in with some rocks. And I honestly don't really have a set way of how I do this part. I just glue them on. I just go with what feels right. So now you want to pick out your rocks. And then you're going to go ahead and just hot glue them down in place. And I'm just randomly putting rocks in different places. So you just want to pick out some rocks that's kind of flat. And just going to put them on. And we're just going to go ahead and finish putting our rocks on. So now I have all my rocks glued on in place. And this is what it looks like. Now these are your roots. And what we're going to do is just going to spread these out any way that you like. And then we're just going to hold them under. And then we're going to pull and tuck. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue right here. And I'm just going to hold this here until that dries. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm just going to pull this out a bit. And I'm going to turn it over. And I'm just going to tuck it. Hold it here. And then we're just going to go ahead and glue that down. And I'm just going to hold this here a bit until it dries. With glue on my fingers. And then you're going to turn that back around. And as you can see, we have some sticking up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring that and tuck this down and glue it in place. If you don't want to glue that in place, you can also just cut it off. But I am going to glue mine. So I'm just going to fan it out a bit. And then just glue them down. So now we have our roots on and glued in place. So now I am going to go ahead and just start adding our Spanish moss. And we're just going to put that all the way around the tree. So, and it doesn't matter if it hangs over a bit. I'm just going to go ahead, grab a glue stick. And we're just going to put a good amount of glue right down on top. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick this down right on top. And I'm just going to pull off a little bit and just cut it just to balance it out a bit. And then we're just going to go ahead and continue to go all the way around the tree. So just going to tear off some or cut it. Now the green moss is the reindeer moss is a little bit more easier to work with, and normally that's what I would be using, but this is what I had on hand because I could not find any more of this reindeer moss. So I'm having to use with what I got, which is fine. It works. You just can't tear it with your hands. You got to basically cut it with scissors. And the reindeer moss is a little bit like lighter and not as hard as this Spanish moss is, but at the end of the day it all works. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and just continue to put this on all the way around the wreath. So now that I'm just going to go ahead and put a little more right here because I don't want to cover the whole wreath. I want to leave a little bit of the rope showing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull off some. And then we're just going to stick it right down on top. And I'm just going to hold this here a bit. Let that dry. Just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and trim off some of the pieces that's sticking up. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to trim it up a bit. So this is what we have so far. And now I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of the greenery down in the bottom. And that's optional. You don't have to do that part, but I'm going to. So I'm just going to go ahead, take my hot glue, and first let's grab a glue stick because we definitely need that. And we're just going to go ahead and squeeze a little bit of the hot glue right down here. And I'm just going to take my green and just put it in the bottom. I just like the way that it looks when you add something green down at the bottom. So we have this. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little more right here. Just like this. And there we have it. Now you can be done at this point, or you can add a fence and a swing. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add a swing and a fence also. But we're going to do the fence first. So what we're going to do is find our rope that we have here. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some right across here. So I'm going to put a dab of hot glue right there in here. And I'm just going to pull it over and I'm going to make it kind of tight. And I'm just going to hold it here for a bit. Let that dry. And then I'm just going to go ahead, cut it here. And then we're going to do one more row. So it's going to come down like this. And we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue here and here. And I'm just going to hold this here, let that dry, and I'm pulling it kind of tight. Once again, you're going to cut it here and here. And then you're going to take little pieces, and then we're just going to go across the top. So like this. So basically we're just making the fence. So a little bit of hot glue here and a little bit on the bottom. And I'm just going to hold this here. I'll probably burn my fingers, but it'll be fine. It won't be the first time. And I'm just going to cut it. We're going to come over here and we're just going to do the same thing all the way down. So now we have our fence all the way across, and that's what it should look like. So there you see the fence, and now we're going to do our swing. So what I'm doing, what I use for my swing is I take a jumbo craft stick, set this out of the way for a minute, and what I do is I go ahead and just cut it, and then I'm going to cut it again, and then bring this back just to see how big it's going to be. And I'm going to put it on this branch right here, and that looks perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and double this up. So I'm going to take it and put it on top of this one, and then we're just going to cut it. So you're just going to take your hot glue and you're going to glue it on top, just like this. And now I'm just going to hold that there, and then we're just going to go ahead and cut it. So this is what we have. Bring your swing back. You're going to grab some of that twine or that rope, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab my scissors and just cut it. I'm folding it over to make sure that it's the equal sides, to make sure both of my strings match up and one is not shorter than the other. I'm going to go ahead, cut it here. We're going to take our string or our rope and we're going to glue it on the sides. So we're just going to hold that there until it dries. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Going to put a little bit of hot glue. We're going to put this way. Just like that. Hold it there. And then we're going to go ahead and glue it to our tree. And I may have to cut it down a bit because it is still a little bit long, but it's fine. Just going to cut it. And then I'm just going to hold it here. And we're just going to go ahead and glue it in place. So a little bit of hot glue on the rope. You're going to go ahead, hold it there. Just like that. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other one. And there we have it. You can make it a little bit shorter as you want. I'm not going to do anything else to it. I'm just going to leave it as is, and this is what we have. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera back up so y'all can see me. And that is it for this video. Once again, here is our little tree of life. I'm going to go ahead and trim it up a bit, but I'll do that off camera. I have a little visitor here with me. This is my nephew. Say hi, Ethan.
Hello.
They can't see you. So yeah, he wanted to set in and watch. He do watch a little bit of my videos. So yeah, this is him. This is my nephew. So yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time out to watch one of my videos. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to become part of my YouTube family. And with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my videos. That really means a lot. And yeah, so I hope you all have a nice day. Bye.